Hi guys, welcome back to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. I'm your host, Savannah. We're doing another episode interviewing a fellow competitor. So welcome to the show. Introduce your name, your age, and tell us where you are from.
My name is Tatiana Debique. Do I have to announce my age?
No, you don't have to
I'm
if you want.
38. I'm an IFBB pro and Olympian. And originally I'm from Russia. I moved to the US in 2000 when I was 15 years old. And I started competing at 21 was my first competition.
Okay, so you've been in the industry for a long time. So you've had a lot of different shows. How many competitions have you done so far?
Realistically, it's hard for me to count because I've been competing since 2005.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I started in figure initially because in 2005, they didn't have bikini. I believe the first time they introduced bikini into the NPC was 2009. And at that point, I was a nationally qualified figure competitor. And I just continued on figure until I got my pro card in IFBB.
Okay. So this first show ever, what year was this?
My first show was John Sherman Classic in 2005.
Oh my gosh.
And I won my class. I placed first.
Okay. Well, how did this journey start? Like, why did this journey start? Like, what happened and what led you to wanting to step on the stage?
That's a great question. I love telling that story because it's really funny. So I'm in grade school. I was a Taekwondo competitor, and I did Taekwondo from 11 until about 18, and the training was very intense. And I in high school, I was very small because all I did is just, school, then go to training. I think I forgot to eat a few times. And then my mom got a membership at the gym, started working out. And then she goes, Tatiana, you got to go with me. You need to put on some weight. So I went on there and to the gym. It was 24 Hour Fitness in Houston. And I got hooked. I think there was like a first introductory session with a personal trainer. I was 17 at a time. He took me through a workout. I was like, wow, this feels great. This was good. And then before you know it, a couple months into working out, people started coming up to me and they're like, hey, are you a competitor? And I didn't know what they were talking about. And then when I was explained, they're talking about bodybuilding because I looked like I was building muscle pretty quickly. So I went online, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that is a thing. So yeah, and that's where it started.
Yeah. I mean, similar kind of situations. I was like, competing, what is that? Like, I got into fitness and then people started mentioning competing. And then I just started looking it up and I looked at the physiques and I'm like, oh, I was like, I think I could do that. I kind of like lifting, worked out,
Exactly.
personal trainer, fell in love, same
Yep.
story. Um,
Similar.
it's
Yeah,
addicting.
similar story.
It's very addicting. Okay, so going into first prep and first show, so
Mm-hmm.
what was going on during that prep and like who was coaching you? What were you doing? Like, how are you getting ready for that show?
So initially, believe it or not, it took me so I started working out at 17. At 18, I was like, okay, I want to compete because that's when I saw my first show. Like you, I went on there. I went to watch the show and I was like, oh my gosh, these women are incredible. I know I can do it. Like, I know I can do it. I have the dedication. I know what it takes. And, but it's not until 2005, I was 21 when I competed. So took me 3 years. And the reason why I think it took me 3 years is because initially I asked for, a bodybuilder for help. A trainer was in our gym. I asked him for help. He gave me like a basic meal plan, a guidance and stuff. And I was on my way. But getting through the competition, I think I chickened out a couple of times.
Really?
Yes, I was practically coaching myself in the first couple first couple of tries. And about 3 weeks before the show, I'm telling you, I think confidence wasn't there. And even though I look at the pictures like, man, I look good.
Yeah.
Now, I wish somebody told me like, hey, no, you need to follow through. But
Yeah.
I got scared, and the diet was getting to me. I think I definitely was under eating. I was getting lean, but I at that point, it's like emotional. You're like, am I looking good? So definitely a lot of doubts. Definitely a lot of doubts. That is why I don't recommend first-time competitors to do it themselves, because it took
Yeah.
me 3 years.
No.
You know?
Yeah. You're just getting a second eye, just because when you
Yeah,
get those prep goggles on and you just really can't see yourself or like what your true shape looks like, just having someone tell you, no, you look great, you're doing it, you're
exactly.
fine.
Exactly. So those is a couple of years of doubts that I finally I hired a coach, and he's like, okay, I'll help you. He was adjusting my diet. Workouts I handle by myself, if I remember right. I don't I honestly don't remember, but I know the diet. He was coaching me on the diet. And then 5 weeks before the show, he ghosted me. I I remember calling and texting. No, wait, I don't remember if texts were even then, but I
Yeah.
just remember I couldn't get a hold of him. And here I am, 5 weeks before the show. Back then, a figure had one piece and two-piece bikini. So I had my suits ready. I was like, everything was planned out. I was registered for the show, and 5 weeks before, and I know I'm not where I need to be, but I I couldn't get a hold of him. So here I am, crying, trying to figure out what to do. And then a buddy at the gym was like, "Hey, I know somebody who competed before. Let me ask him what they do, with the diet and stuff." So they gave me a couple of tips, and I went through it. I went
Wow.
through it, and I placed first in my class, and then I was like, "Okay, I love it. Now I want to do overall."
Yes, exactly.
which
With
which I did win at the following year. I won the overall in figure in Texas
wow.
State.
I'm shocked that your coach, did you ever find out what happened with the coach, or was it just a weird
You know,
situation? No?
I if, funny that you asked about. I believe it was a week or maybe even a few days after that show. I think he found out that I won. He called me, and I looked at my phone, and I'm like, I got nothing to talk to him about. Like, I seriously did not hear from him, and um, I know a lot of girls go through that. I know a lot of
Yeah.
girls get ghosted by people. I don't know for what reasons. I don't know his reason, but I know he tried to call me later, and I was like, I don't, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And when I do talk to my competitors or potential clients who I coach now, they tell me those stories too, and I tell them like I can relate because it actually happened to me. So as a coach myself, I don't
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah, no coach should ghost you. Your coach should communicate with you more going into your show. Like it should be almost like, are you doing okay? Like checking in frequently. The closer that you get, peaking is really important, but communication should increase, not decrease. It's kind
Absolutely.
of, I'm very happy for you that you went on to be so successful, and it's kind of despite, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm sure he has some regrets of like, ooh, I should have probably not have done that. But okay,
Yeah.
so we got hooked to the sport. We won our first show. We're still in figure at the time. We go
Hmm.
on, we win the overall in the following time that we step on
Hmm.
stage. Um, what were you doing in between? Were you growing? How are you delivering on feedback? Like what helped you get an overall?
So for the second show, I prepped myself, but that time I already felt like I knew what I needed to improve on to win the overall, which come in leaner, and that's exactly what I did. I of course, posing improved by then, and that first show, you're always like try right things, even when you have a coach. It's your first show, you're nervous. I remember going on stage the first time. was shaking.
Mm.
But yeah, the second show definitely was a much better experience, and I came
Yeah.
in leaner, more muscular, of course, too.
Yeah. And okay, so after that time, when did the transition to bikini happen? How many
Yeah.
like years, how many shows?
So I won my IFBB card in 2011 in figure, and I competed a couple more years until 2013 was my last figure day. And at that point, I was dating my now husband. And what I noticed in figure is figure girls are getting bigger. And I don't think I wanted to keep getting big. And then at the same time, I'm looking at the bikini stage and the girls are having so much fun. And I'm and a lot of people, in fact, when I did figure, people are like, you move like a bikini girl. I'm like, well, I'm just having fun on stage. So I asked my husband, I said, hey, I want to switch to bikini. What do you think? And, I probably talked to a lot of people then, and I asked them about the feet, like, what if I switched to bikini? What do you think? And people are like, oh, you're too big, you figure, you're too big. And then I finally, asked the person who actually matters, asked my future husband. I'm like, hey,
Right.
do you think I can do it? He's like, absolutely. And in fact, you should totally do it. So I never looked back. I started transforming right into a bikini competitor. And
Mhm.
my first show, I was competing as a pro at that point. I was an IFBB bikini pro. And at my first show, I got 5th place out of 31 competitors.
Wow. Wow. So okay,
For
what was your highest placing for figure?
3rd place. It was my pro debut. I got a 3rd place. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
immediately first show, you're like already getting top 5 and
Mm-hmm.
excited and just kind of telling everyone, I'm not too big. Like actually I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So what was the training differences between the figure prep and bikini prep now?
I did not train my upper body for as long as I remember.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I had plenty of muscle, but definitely concentrate more on growing glutes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I did not. Maybe I would get a pump here and there for upper body just to feel like I'm not slacking when it's
Right.
lifting session. But yeah, I concentrated more on like plyometrics and cardio as well too.
Did you, um did you adapt to the posing pretty easily for the
Yes,
transition? Yeah.
yes, very easy, very easy. I've if I do say so myself, I felt like I flowed very well. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
I actually coached bikini before I even entered my first bikini competition. So
okay.
yeah, because I was already a prep coach then, and
Yeah.
I coached figure girls and bikini girls, and a lot of my girls were very, very successful because as a competitor, I'm very, very competitive. And if somebody works with me, I'm like, hey, listen, we're doing it because it's a competition.
Mhm.
They call it a show, but it is a competition. So
And
you're
then,
gonna go to win. Let's make you look good. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Where does that competitive drive come from? Like, why do you continue to compete?
So I think just since I was young, I was a competitive taekwondo,
Mhm.
um, taekwondo competitor, black belt, like always trying to reach the height of the sport. When I got bored with that, like I said, I started working out, and then I found out it's something to look forward to. And the what I love about bodybuilding is you can't ever like be 100% improved. Like there's always things to improve. So you do your first show, second show, and you can just continue, and there's an improvement. And it is so hard. It's so hard to, especially if you're a student, because I was a student initially,
Yeah.
um, getting my nutrition degree from Texas A&M. It was a lot, and I competed through those years as well. um, it was difficult. You have to be very very intentional of every hour, every minute that you spend, time at the gym, food prep,
Yeah.
especially, broke college student. That was difficult. Like you got to find different, you got to resource your, you got to resource your suit, and save money and all that. I remember.
I mean, it is addicting too. So like I started to like when I was 20 and I just
Mhm.
college, and I remember doing finals and peak week in this one year the same week. That was like the hardest week ever. Like trying to
Yeah.
study with prep brain and then going into a show. But like it's like you learn a lot and it helps prep. I feel like when you're prepping, everything starts to flow. It's like, okay, I have to get efficient. How can I get
Yeah.
efficient with my studies or with
Just,
work or whatever
just
it is?
how
Like you have
it,
so much cardio to do, and you have to put the meals and the food and the water and all this stuff, and it just is a lot. And you're like, okay, I can't, there's no time to procrastinate, to sleep in, to stay, like there's none. You just do. You just go, 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 go
yep.
until
That's
done.
when I woke up at 5 in the morning. I already had my breakfast ready from the night before. I
Yeah.
go do my cardio. Guess what I do while I'm doing my cardio? I'm watching anatomy and physiology lessons on
Yeah.
while I'm doing the Stairmaster. I remember that. It's like you
Yeah.
got to get it done. So I studied while I was doing cardio as well.
Yeah. That's like it's when I'm doing cardio, I'm emails, messaging,
Hmm.
double like whatever I can get done. I'm like, all right, just pretend I'm not doing this right now and just try to get everything done in the day. So okay, you talked about your coaching business. It did start kind of throughout this journey. When did you
Hmm.
decide that you wanted to start coaching?
I was a trainer since I was 18, because as soon as I started working out, I was like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. As soon as I turned 18, I got my certification and just started personal training. But after my first competition, um, I had a few girls come up to me and they're like, "Hey, can you help me? I want to compete. Can you help me?" So, my first client was my twin sister.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
she was like, "All right, I see you having fun. Now, can you just take me through this?" And
Yeah.
I helped her out. I'm like, "I got you." And she was a good client. She's a good
Yeah.
client. Only after she won her first competition, she was like, "I'll tell you a secret. I had a few chips and salsa and margarita here and there." I was like, "What?"
So those weeks that your weight didn't drop, it was because of that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's very gifted, so she did great. Yeah.
Yeah.
She knew
Okay.
what she could get away with.
Yes, that seems like it.
Definitely
Uh,
wasn't in front of me.
no, it definitely wasn't. Those are some hidden things that she was sneaking
Yeah,
in. Okay, so we're transitioning where you placed top five, but now the jump and the goal is to get a pro win. And
exactly. To qualify
okay,
for Olympia.
during
Yes.
that time, have you been working with the same coach since that top five, or is there been any?
No,
Okay,
no, I wasn't. I had a few switches, and then I coached myself in between and just kind of tried, figure it out. And like you said, having different eyes on you helps you as a competitor, right? Moving forward. But I I did my first bikini competition. A year later, my husband and I got married, and we took that 2015, as just us. It's about
yeah,
us, starting the family, all of that. And and then I got invited to Arnold Classic in Australia,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, first I was really excited about it, and again I asked my husband, and it was around like right after Christmas, like right at New Year's, where they sent out those invitations, and we had a lot of fun during Christmas parties. So I asked my husband, "Hey, honey, the invitation came in. Should I do it?" He's like, "Oh, heck yeah, you should do it." I was like, "Okay, tonight you're gonna take pictures of me, my progress photos."
Mhm.
So he took pictures of me, and I looked at him and I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh no,
I
oh
was
no,
like, I'm not gonna be ready. It's 2.5 months away. How am I gonna be ready? Like I was so like stressed out. listen, nothing drives you more than knowing that you don't really have a lot of time. Like there's zero time to screw up.
Yeah.
And you just gotta do what you gotta do. So all that night, right after we took those photos, I was sweating. I was nervous. 5 a.m, I was at the gym, knocking out my cardio. Just prep started right then. So and it was fun. It was that prep. I think it was my favorite because it was such a time crunch, but I was so goal oriented. Girl, I transformed my body. Like people were looking at the gym like, you
Are
went
you
to the
okay?
gym
It's just
yesterday.
like,
No, first they're like, do you live in the gym? I was like, yes, I practically do. But there's a lot more involved into that, is that,
the
meal prep,
time.
clean
Yeah.
eating, timing. Yeah, trying to get enough rest. Can't stress enough how important sleep is too.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
important.
it's amazing what your mind and body are capable of when you're on the same page. Because there's preps that, they're not going to be the best. You had probably
Yeah.
good preps, bad preps, but when you're motivated and like, I
Mm-hmm.
really want, I've been waiting for this qualification. This is a big deal. It's a prestigious show. I have to show up. I got accepted. A lot of people didn't. I only have this amount of time. Something switches and your brain is
Yep.
just like, I don't care how hard it gets. I know it's gonna suck. And it's like, okay, let's just go, 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 go. Like I've had crazy preps that I'm like, I don't even know how I did it, to be honest. And like now I was like, I was crazy, but it's fun. It is fun chasing the goal, and getting there and being able to look at the end of the finish line like, whoa, I worked so hard, even if you don't win, you know?
Yeah. Yes, but you gave it 100% when you're on that stage. Like by the way, my favorite part of competing was the stage. Like I say it a lot of times. Like if I could sing, I'd probably be a singer because I want to be on that stage all the time. I can't sing.
No, I can't sing
Don't
either.
ask me to.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
So what do you feel on stage? Like, why do you love that part?
I love showing my hard work, and um I don't know, maybe it's like a Leo in me that I love, the attention, but I really do enjoy, like, it just, I don't know, you become just this incredible person on stage and all eyes are on you. Like hundreds of people are looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very special feeling that you can only get from stage because it's like, oh, everyone is watching me right now.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I do like that bodybuilding is the only thing that I have found that your hard work you can see like the physical representation on your body. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you have a job or whatever, like you can work really hard at lots of other stuff and you can achieve goals, but it's really hard to quantify hard work. But then when you see the changes in your body of like, oh my gosh, look at the progress pictures from the last show or from when you first started to like your stage shots, like you can really see, oh my gosh, all those days of dieting, all those days, it like you can actually physically see hard work like on yourself. And it's
Yeah,
really rewarding just to be like, whoa, we can literally change, like shape shift. Like we can make, if I want bigger,
exactly.
the body of my dreams, I want more shoulders and more glutes, and I work hard, like I can actually control what my body looks like.
Yeah. And another thing about bodybuilding and competing, and I mentioned it before, it's very difficult. That's why not everybody's doing it, right? Everybody wants to do it, but so many
Yeah.
people drop off, fall off. So, but it's it's probably one of the hardest things that I have ever done because you have to have so much discipline and
Mhm.
you have to say no to a lot of things, and people are gonna look at you like you're an alien,
Mhm.
like you don't want to go out, you don't want to have a drink, just one. Oh, eat that cookie, it's not gonna be that bad. We all heard those.
Yeah.
But it's, if you can do this, if you can um if you can take it all the way through the stage, you can do anything. You really
Yeah.
can do anything.
Yeah. I love the feeling after I finish a prep because there was hard days, right? It was not easy. And it feels like it's almost more rewarding if you knew how hard the prep was. Like the harder the prep, the more rewarding the stage experiences of like,
Mhm.
man, I had to get through this crazy situation that popped up in my life, and I was stressed, and I had some long days and sleep and all this different stuff. And I had to say no to Christmas and birthday and this. I
Yep.
said no for, 4 or 5 months straight, for years straight of no social events, no crazy
Mhm.
meals, no alcohol. And it is like at the beginning, you feel bad. You feel like, oh, my friends are gonna like me. And then after a certain point, you're like, I don't care anymore. I don't
It
care
gets
anymore.
easier.
It
It
gets
gets
way
easier.
easier. It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I feel now because I'm like, now everyone knows it's not a phase. It's who you are. And it's like, oh, she doesn't do that. She has her meals. And now those same people that maybe at the beginning were like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Now those are the same people that are like, hey, can I have some advice? Or would you coach me? And
Exactly.
it's kind of cool that like you're able to be like, wow, no, like she really cares about this. She's so passionate about it. Like she loves it. And I think a lot of outsiders that are outside of bodybuilding, when they see our extremeness, they think it's too much, but it wasn't black and white. Like you've transitioned and slowly grown over
Mhm.
the last years, where maybe at the beginning, like there was some diet slips or something, but now it's like, no, like
Yeah.
it is extreme now, but it was a process. I had to go through a show and then level up and get more extreme and
Yeah.
more extreme and more
Yeah.
extreme. And
And with each prep, you learn. You
yeah,
learn what you should be doing. You know exactly when you go on that stage, you know exactly what you've done and what you didn't do. And
mhm.
it shows too. And it
Yeah.
shows on stage.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than having regrets after you've
Mhm.
stepped off stage. And then I swear it happens every time. So whenever I get on stage, anything that I think about that I could have done better, I was like, oh, was my cardio intense? Or, oh, you remember that day 2 weeks ago that I was tired and I skipped the gym? That's why I got second today. Or you just think about it. When you think about it, like those little decisions that you didn't think were going to be important, those could have been the reasons why you didn't achieve the goal.
Yeah.
And then once you realize that, you don't like that feeling and you seek this win. And so you're like, okay, next time I don't want to have any regrets. So I'm going to make my everything like never miss a session, nothing like steps, what, like every single detail from the time that you get up to the time that you go to sleep. When you are in prep, you're putting like your full energy of like, how competitive can I get on drinking water? How
Mhm.
competitive can I get on hitting my steps every day? How competitive can I make the quality of my foods or the meals? And you can take it to any level that you want. And it's exciting because every time, like you said earlier, like you can't, I really don't feel like you can ever be 100% in every aspect. It's very, very, very hard unless you win the Olympia title. At
Yeah.
that point, you won, but you
And
can
then you
always
still
improve.
have to come in improved to
Yeah,
win again. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So it's a constant evolution, and it's not a team sport. It's a solo mission. No
Hmm.
one is with you the whole time. You have to make those decisions when your coach isn't looking, when no one's
Hmm.
around you. And that is like, that's hard. That you have
Yeah.
to ask yourself, how bad do I want this when no one's looking, when I'm hungry and I'm tired? Do I decide? You make that decision every single time. What you put in your mouth, if you skip your training, oh, I'll skip this rep. I'm tired. I'm gonna just skip this rep, or I'll skip this exercise. You make all these little decisions, and it's the only
That's it.
person to blame is you. It's like, did you follow the
Yeah.
plan or did you not follow the plan?
Everything counts. Every rep counts. Every bite counts. Every hour of sleep counts too.
It is.
And
It
that's
is.
important.
It's very important. Okay, so when was your last competition?
2016.
Okay.
2016.
Are
I
you retired? Or are you planning to get back on stage at all?
well, I right after 2016, so I did Olympia in 2016. I got qualified. I won a show. I did Olympia. I did a couple of shows right after, I'm in shape. Let's do a few. And then my husband and I decided to expand our family. I have a 3-year-old daughter now. Her name is Cassandra. And I have a little guy. His name is Killian. He's a month old.
Oh, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you. And I don't know if I'm going to compete. I want to get back into that shape, of course. But right now I am doing my motherly chores and all of that. And I'm a full-time coach, bikini
Mhm.
prep coach. So
Yeah.
even though I'm not on stage, every time I'm out there on that, competition Saturday when my clients are competing, I really do feel like I am on stage. It's
Mhm.
good. It's very rewarding to pass that knowledge, that experience to my clients.
Yeah. And is
Right.
there any other habits that you've maintained, even though you're not getting on stage? Is there anything that you continue to do that you used to do in like prep?
Continue working out,
Yeah.
continue meal prepping. Yes.
Yeah.
And what else would do? Just a structured schedule.
Yeah.
Also, keep reminding myself if I want to do something, if like I said, the hardest prep was probably the Arnold Classic prep. And
Yeah.
I keep telling myself, all right, girl, you did that, you got no excuses. Like if
Yeah.
you did that, you can do whatever you want, you can do.
Yes, exactly. Do your kids know what you do? Like how do you like what kind of like healthy kind of things? I'm curious. Like what do you tell them about like working out and like dieting and like how do you do that as a parent?
So my daughter, she's 3, right? And they're only like around 3 years old when they start understanding what mama does.
Yeah.
And in fact, just getting ready for your interview, I was setting up. She goes, "Mommy, are you ready for competition?"
Oh, it's so she kind of gets it a
And
little
she
bit.
goes, I'm going with you. Just let me put my Crocs on.
Oh, it's so sweet. It's super
She goes, I
sweet.
want to wear this dress and let me put my Crocs on. So she was running in and out right before we talked.
Yeah.
But she sees me. I have local, like I coach online. So I coach girls all throughout the US and outside the country.
Yeah.
However, I do have local clients. And the benefit of being coached under me is locally is they can actually come to me and I can teach them posing.
Mhm.
And I have girls coming through here all the time, and my daughter sees it. And there are several times where I had to have her with me. And yeah, she knows how to walk, she knows how to pose. And one night, my husband was, I think he was washing dishes, and he looks over, and my daughter is like posing, and he goes, "Honey, I don't think you should be doing those sessions with you with Cassandra anymore because she's learning it way too soon." It
She's
was so
ready.
funny.
She's
Yeah.
ready for the little competitions. But
Yeah,
that's
she
really
knows. She goes, she sees my, because when I had my daughter, look, I have blonde hair now. I'm not in my competition shape yet. I have these pictures pop up of me having black hair, just like you, light eyes, black hair, like super fit. And she sees those pictures and I'm like, who's that? She goes, it's mommy.
oh
So
she
she knows, she
yeah.
recognizes, she knows her mom is a bodybuilder.
Yes. I think that's so cool that like she's excited and in her free time she's like, I want to do what mom's doing. It's like doing her
Yeah.
routine. Yeah.
She
And
goes
it's
to competitions with me. I take her with me to when we have shows.
yeah.
I think her first show was at 3 months old, and then every time we have shows in around the city, like maybe Orlando or Tampa,
Mhm.
I take her with me, and she watches the stage, and then halfway through she gets bored. She asks for a phone,
Yep. Yep.
but yeah, but she knows exactly what we do.
I love it. I love it a lot. Okay, so with your coaching experience, with your knowledge, what are some maybe like tips that you would give for someone that is thinking about doing a competition? Like what they need to prepare for, what they need to ask, or if they're looking for a coach, like what are questions that they need to ask?
Okay. So first, I would like for them to do is to research the sport. We have internet. Everybody got internet now. They just, all they have to do is just speak it into a phone or Google it, and all the information is right there. Spend a few, spend a few minutes or hours to looking at it, right? And what's going on. And then don't wing it yourself. Don't do it by yourself. Look, I've done it by myself, right? Initially, even though I did get some help, then I tried to do it myself, and that's why I didn't compete for 3 years. Like, it could have happened where I would maybe not ever competed. So don't do it yourself, because your first experience is going to be the chances are it's not going to be the great one if you do it yourself, right? If you're self-coached. If you're going to make a lot of mistakes, where you're hiring a coach, you expect to not make those mistakes because you have a coach, right? You have the expectations of, okay, I'm hiring you, and you trust your coach to take you through it. And a good coach will help you make progress a lot faster than you would have done by yourself. And then another thing is interview several coaches, because some people you're going to talk to, you might not click, right? And then others are great. So you got to find the coach that works with you, with your personality.
Yeah.
And then also make sure, I mean, I don't know if you can tell if they're honest or not, but gosh, sometimes people get promised things that are unrealistic, and then they don't get to where they want. Where when I interview with my potential clients, I tell them, listen, I'm not going to be nice sometimes. But like, I'm not like a drill surgeon, yes, I'm Russian, so I might sound a little bit, harsh at moments, but I'll tell you my honest opinion, from my experience. Okay, this is what you need to do. This is how long I think it'll take you. And I always caution on, as far as like timing goes, I'd like to have more time than less time.
I agree. Because it's rushing, it makes it hard. It makes it very stressful, especially
Yeah.
for that first show. Like, give yourself even an extra month. You'll be amazed at an extra 4 weeks. Oh, yes, you're gonna have to diet for an extra 4 weeks, but to get that elite conditioning that the bodybuilding stage requires, you're gonna have some plateaus. It's gonna happen. So if you give yourself a buffer, or even wait to pick out that show until you know how your body's responding to the training, to the cardio, to the diet,
Exactly.
it's so nice to know like you're ready. There's nothing worse than knowing, ooh, we're gonna have to push up until peak week, like trying to get all of the body fat off that we can to the very end. It sucks. You want to be ready early, and then you can kind of slow down a little bit and come in like very, very, very refreshed, and maybe you even increase your food 1 to 2 weeks early.
Exactly. Yes, a lot of my girls eat into the show. I'd like for them to be ready sooner, so that way we can fill them out. You know exactly what I mean. And then their mood changes. All of a sudden they're eating my food. They're like, oh my gosh. Even though they're like, are you sure? Am I supposed to be eating that much? Yes, you are. Go eat. Yes. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a lot more fun, because then calories are also going into your brain too.
Right, just to get a little boost before. Okay, any other pieces of advice before we finish that, through your journey, just like what you've learned, just any motivation tips that you want to leave the audience with?
Yes, I would like to say, see things through. Once you make a commitment, go through that commitment. Yes, things come up in your life, right? The unexpected, and we have to put our passion on a back burner. But if you decide to compete, if you hired a coach, already made a plan, you execute on it, go through it, because the time is going to pass anyway. and it feels like, oh my gosh, I need to do 4 months of prep. I don't know if I can do it. Well, guess what? 4 months from now, you're going to be watching that competition. You'll be like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
So see things through, and listen to your coach and ask them questions too. Don't just blindly follow their advice. If you are not sure, or if you're just even curious, hey, why am I doing this? A good coach will explain. They
Yeah.
will explain exactly. Maybe not like down to the science, but at least for you to understand that, hey, you're in good hands. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so if anyone wants to work with you, where can they find you on social media and where can they reach out to you?
Our website is bikiniprepcoach.com. Pretty easy, right?
That's
Pretty
really easy.
straightforward. You can Google Bikini Prep Coach Tampa as well. On social media, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Bikini Prep Coach, one word, Bikini Prep
Okay.
Coach.
Okay. And then if they want to follow you online, where could they do so?
They can follow us on, just like I said, Instagram. Oh, you mean like me personally? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So yes, my handler is at Tatiana_Debique, Debique. That is my quote unquote personal / athlete profile. And
Okay.
then you can also get through at Bikini Prep Coach.
Okay. Wonderful. And finally, so if you could be team cupcake or team protein shake, what would you pick and why?
Cupcake.
Cupcake. Okay. And then describe your perfect cupcake, or if you could be a cupcake, what would you be?
I would be a vanilla cupcake with chocolate on top.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with us today. I enjoyed getting to know you and your journey just a little bit more. I'll get your episode. It probably won't be up until about a month from now, but once it's up, I'll let you know where to listen.
That's great. Thank you so much, girl. Nice talking to you.
Talking to you as well.